Hi hobby fans, welcome to another video log. Just thought I'd give you a quick update on what I'm up to at the moment. Last few days I have been desperately trying to finish these two guys. These will be the fourth and fifth members of my first squad of Blade Guard, known in the Swords of Dawn as the Obsidian Sentinels. Obsidian because they're fifth company and therefore their company colour is black. There'll be 3 squads of 5 of these eventually in the company, each with a specific squad designation based on the colour. So this is Squad Onyx. I've still got a couple of transfers just to add to the models, and then obviously the bases to do. But other than that, they are ready to take down to the great Mr. Winters. I'm due to play him in a couple of weeks. So very much looking forward to that, and looking forward to seeing how a larger squad of Blade Guard features and works on the tabletop. Now of course the Blade Guard come in a box of 3, so what I've done with the other one, because I sort of work with the my own particular narrative for the Swords of Dawn. The Obsidian Sentinels, the Blade Guard units, are effectively a bodyguard to my my company command structure. So each battle company will have 3 squads of Sentinels there to protect the command staff, and each of those 3 squads is commanded by a Blade Guard captain. There is a Blade Guard ancient, and there will also be a Blade Guard librarian. Now appreciate obviously Blade Guard captains and Blade Guard librarians don't actually exist in the codex as a data sheet. So I'll just be using the standard ones, the standard data sheets for those models, but we'll be using Blade Guard models to represent them sort of suitably converted and customized. So this is the Blade Guard captain, also called Blade Master. So I've done various sort of bits of conversion here. The head is from the Indomitus chaplain. So the arms are actually the original Blade Guard kit, but you can see I've added a helmet to his belt there. That was just something I found in my bits box. A couple of extra purity seals just here and there just to sort of bulk it out. I've got some Teruges just on this shoulder. I realise they're normally sort of supposed to go just under the belt at the front here, but obviously he's got his own little tabard there. And I thought actually they look quite cool there on that arm. Slung the shield on the back, but decided to put it at an angle. When the shields go on sort of the kit, normally they're sort of designed to go vertically like that, but I thought actually slinging it at an angle just created a bit more interest. And this cape here is from the Minotaur's Asterian Moloch model from Forge World, which I bought many moons ago and converted into a Terminator for my previous chapter of Marines. The cape I kept, and it's just been sort of sat in my bits box for ages, so I sort of trimmed that down with the Dremel until it fit sort of underneath the backpack there, and sort of looked relatively reasonable in terms of how it sits on the model. So looking forward to getting that one painted up as well. I've also had a nice hobby haul come through today, and I'm expecting the AdMech Codex and the data cards tomorrow, all from the wonderful Element Games. Fantastic service. Do have a look on the video description. There's a link in there that will take you to the Element Games website, and anything you purchase using that link, I get a bit of cash back for the channel. which helps obviously keep me in hobby stuffs, and helps keep the kits coming in for the videos that I put online. So what have we got? We've got the Redgrass Games wet palette. I just got the starter kit here. I do have a Masterson's wet palette, but it's absolutely monstrous in terms of size. It's sort of bigger than A3, and so now that I'm sort of at the hobby desk in my garage, it takes up too much of the smaller table that I've got in here. So I bought myself this. As you can see, it's a bit more of a reasonable size in terms of sort of taking up space on the hobby desk, and it's about the same size as the Citadel palette pad. I will probably use both of them in conjunction at the same time, but yeah, looking forward to trying this one out. I've used a homemade wet palette before, which was okay, but I wasn't entirely sure what I was doing, so not sure if I was sort of making it right or using it properly. This one's really sort of quite nice. It's got a good rubber seal there, just to make sure that the lid fits nice and tight and doesn't let any water out, or sort of evaporate out of the kit when you're not using it. And it's also got this sort of elastic strap to put on over, just to make sure it's nice and tight and closed. It also comes pre-fitted with these magnets on 3 sides. I haven't got any of the sort of the stick-on additions to it. I'll see how I get on. I may or may not get some of those at a later stage, but essentially they have little sort of clip-on plastic sort of well pallets, just to stick onto the sides there. So that's one thing. We've got that all set up and ready to go, so I'll see how we get on when I start using that. This next one's a bit of hobby nostalgia, actually. I've not got them yet, but this is my craft knife that I use generally for removing mould lines. As you can see, the blade has taken a bit of a battering over the years. It's actually so blunt that I can just quite happily run my finger down the blade there, and it's not it's not cutting the skin at all. And actually that's why it works quite well as a mould line removal, because it's not so sharp that it digs into the plastic. I actually bought this when I was 16, I think, maybe 17. Worked in a DIY store, and we got these in, so I got hold of one. I've never seen them for sale anywhere else ever since, but it's considerably more robust than the usual sort of X-Acto knife type thing, but it's also smaller and far more handy than your typical Stanley knife with a retractable blades, the chunky ones. It's also got a nice little sort of blade storage compartment inside. You just unscrew this piece at the end. Take the unscrew it all the way. You can see there's a nice little compartment in there that just takes the blade. So I've indulged myself and bought a whole 3 extra blades, which are coming tomorrow. So that'll be quite exciting for me to finally get hold of a new knife. And the thing that I really like about it is the shape of the blade when you're cutting something. This is my other hobby knife, something that you're probably all a bit more familiar with. This I think is a Draper, but just with sort of the standard fitting in there. I don't like this one as much. It is much sharper, and so when I'm when I'm cutting stuff that I need to sort of slice through neatly. This is the one that I use at the moment, but I don't like the angle of the blade. I do really like the way that this one sort of leans slightly forward, but it's got that very flat sort of horizontal blade, and it just sort of fits nicely in the fingers. And ultimately I've just got used to using it over the last sort of 25 years. So I thought I'd indulge myself and get some replacement blades for it. On the way home today, next up I dropped in on a friend and picked up this box of Skitari. I'm working on some AdMech at the moment, and he'd got this box. It had the cellophane on when I picked it up as well. Yeah, thanks to Andy. Andy Revel, check him out on Twitch. I'll find a link and pop that in the video description. He streams old school computer games, I believe, on Twitch. So yeah, check him out and see what's what. I've got 30 Skitari sat in my to-do pile, but of course typically with the current codex they've changed the legal loadouts of the squad. So the 10 rangers that I've got with 3 Transuranic Arcua buses are no longer legal, and I've also got 20 Vanguard with 3 plasma calivers and 3 arc rifles, which is also no longer legal. So what I'm actually going to do is I've got this box and I've got some more Skitari, which I'm going to sort of use to make up legal squads of those. It's probably going to be a bit of a headache, I suspect, figuring out what models I need for which squad. But I'm excited to sort of start getting the AdMech on the table. I've had them for a while now. It's a very sort of long-winded scheme that I'm doing in terms of the paint scheme on them. And typically in my own sort of style, I'm not focusing on a single unit. So I've finished one Iron Strider. I've got another one that's probably about 40% done. I've got half a dozen Cerberus Sulphur Hounds, one of which is finished. A couple are maybe halfway done, and I've sort of started work on the other 3. So I've got the 30 Skitari, and all in varying stages of completion. So whilst I've not actually finished a lot at the moment, there's a lot on stream that's going to come in sort of all in a bunch. And then the last thing that popped up in the post today is the new AdMech Combat Patrol box, which I must say I was very excited to sort of be able to put in the order basket. Very good deal from Element Games. As I say, I do have an affiliate link, and so I do get sort of a little extra bit of discount from those orders every month, and that's gone towards getting me this kit. And that one in particular I think will be the subject of a From the Forge build video. Possibly even these Cataphrons. I will probably refrain from doing a Skitari build video because it's basic infantry. So unless there's sort of a great demand for me to do a video on a basic infantry kit, I say great demand, it'll probably be, you know, if one person asks me to do it, then I'll do it. But this is sort of going to go towards making another core of the core part of my AdMech army. I do want to get another one. Can't afford one just at the moment, but hopefully in the not too distant future there'll be a second of these winging its way towards me. That'll give me a pair of Dune Crawlers. It'll take my Skitari up to 60. The Dune Crawlers will provide nice long range firepower. It will give me half a dozen Cataphrons as well. Again, there'll be long range firepower. What I'm probably going to do, however, because you get an engine sear in the kit, and that will leave me with 2 engine sears. I can't really foresee me wanting to have 2 engine sears in an army at any point. So what I'm planning on doing is actually using the base of one of the cataphrons, make the cataphrons Unit 5, take the track base from it, and actually sort of amputate the engine sear at the waist, stick him onto the tracked base, give him a slightly better sort of axe and some various gubbins that I'm going to have a look through my bits box for, see what I can find, just to kit him out and use him essentially as a custom techno-archaeologist, because at the moment that model, the only option for that model is Daedalus from the Blackstone Fortress, one of the Blackstone Fortress expansions, and that expansion is no longer available, and those models go for a bundle on eBay, and quite frankly I'm not willing to pay that sort of money for one infantry size model that I won't say I won't use, but I've got sort of limited intention of using. However, given that I'll have a spare engine sear, and I can sort of customize a base, I can quite happily stand to lose one of the breeches for sort of an alternative HQ, and keep that as a Unit 5. I'm thinking at the moment of using the plasma culverins and making them cataphron destroyers, although I must admit, looking at the rules, yeah, that's it, rules, the torsion cannon does look very tasty in terms of its damage. 5 of those would be quite interesting. Not strictly speaking as damaging as a pair of neutron lasers if they're firing at full effect, but 5 torsion cannons is a guaranteed 5 shots. The 2 neutron lasers would average out at 4 shots. Strength 12 versus strength 8. Well, most vehicles I'm going to be shooting at are still strength 8. Sorry, toughness 7. So strength 8 would still be enough to win on 3s. AP is the same, damage is the same. The only issue really in comparison is that the torsion cannons on the servitors are ballistic skill 4, not ballistic skill 3, which is what the Dune Crawler is. However, the Dune Crawler is only ballistic skill 3 until it gets down to 5 wounds. When it hits 5 wounds, it goes to 4 up anyway. So I might look at some alternative weapons for the Dune Crawler. I mean, I'm probably going to look at magnetising this anyway. As I say, I'm certainly going to be doing a From the Forge video for it, and that will almost certainly include magnetising all the different gun options. I mean, it doesn't look massively complicated from the instructions and from the pictures to magnetise. We'll see when I actually get to look at the kit itself. So I mean, ultimately I've got sort of a couple of options. If I go with the neutron lasers on the Dune Crawlers, I can probably look at going with the plasma destroyers, or even possibly the grav cannons, because again, it's a guaranteed 5 shots per man at -3. You don't have the bonus or the potential damage bonus that you can get from the culverins though. I lean towards the culverins because I do like plasma. The grav is probably the slightly more effective option because of the guaranteed high number of shots, but then the plasma can double as anti-tank as well if you're sort of once you overcharge it and it goes to strength 8 and damage 2, 5d6 shots is still going to be a lot of shooting, and a lot of potential damage coming out of that unit. Not sure I really like the arc, is it the heavy arc rifle or heavy arc cannon, something like that. I'm not sure I'd go for that particularly. The damage doesn't quite cut it for me. Again, 10 shots would be 5 hits, wounding vehicles on 4s, call it 3 get through, 1 saved, 4 damage. It's not Doesn't have quite the same punch, I don't think. Although the 2-up save is very nice on the breeches. Added to which, then the sort of the combat weapons become quite nasty on here as well. Particularly this, I think this is the hydraulic claw at sort of strength 10, flat 3 damage. Sure, it's only hitting on 4s, but again, you know, unit 5 of those could be quite nasty against sort of deep striking vehicles. So that is all of my purchases. We'll see what becomes of the box. Hopefully in a couple of days' time I'll give you an update, and we'll have a lot more built and finished stuff, all in grey, waiting for me to finish what I've got painted at the moment, or what I've got to paint at the moment, should I say. As for now, I'm probably going to go and just build this this engine here, and just do this one as is for now, and see what we can do about converting a second one in the fullness of time. So I will catch you in a few days.